It's just, I don't know. It's not Star Wars. To me, it's not Star Wars. And I'm just... G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for episode 11 of Andor. We've got 2 episodes left, episode 11 and 12. Now where we left off last week, of course, Andor has escaped the prison. Andor's mum is actually not doing too well and Mon Mothma is still looking for credits, and I don't really know what's going on with Luthen at the moment. Obviously, the ISB is trying to track him down, but in all honesty, I still don't think that this is the best Star Wars we've ever seen. I don't know how people can actually think that this is better than at least the OT. I personally don't think it's even better than the prequels. It might be better visually and of course with the score as well and things like that than things like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's probably on the same level as sort of Mando, but I will say Mando's done a bit more damage to actual lore than the Andor series. I just think with Tony Gilroy not being a fan of Star Wars at all and what he's come up with in this show, it's just not good. It's not good Star Wars. People want to say that the writing is really good and the dialogue from last week is the best dialogue that we've ever seen in Star Wars. And I completely disagree with that, to be honest. And that's my opinion of what I'm seeing when it comes to Andor. I am a big Star Wars fan myself, and I know that there's Star Wars fans out there, but a lot of the Star Wars fans have checked out. And this is why they've decided to actually release the first 2 episodes. And I don't know why they're just doing the first 2 episodes, but that's why they've decided to release the first 2 episodes just free on all Disney's other platforms. So we're going to get into this episode. It's another 46-minute episode. It's probably only going to go for about 38 to 39 minutes, something like that. But let's get into this episode and we'll see what we get moving forward going into the season finale. Now, if you're new here, of course, how I do it, I watch the episode, you get to see some of my reactions from watching it, and then at the end, you'll get my review and my thoughts on the episode. Let's get into this.
That's just love.
I reckon she's dying.
Years.
She's probably dead in this
Welcome to
episode.
5.
Oh, and then there's Val as well.
Messages.
You spoke with Cassian Andor.
Andor. When's the last time you
I'd
spoke with
rather
Cassian
die
Andor?
trying to-
Oh, she's already passed away. There you go. So it turns out this guy's an ISB guy, working for Deidre or whatever her name is. Teeth talking lady. Hey, we got some aliens. So did those aliens just help them? I think so.
What information?
Hey, he's back. She's still fucked up from that torture. Does it do permanent damage?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Fuck, it looks
I
like it.
expect not.
Where are the credits from
Take it, let me
Eldani?
replace the credits and get me started.
80
again.
million
Really
credits.
discover just how
Luthen could have paid you back.
back to see you.
Why does she hate her mum so much? I fucking hate that.
I was nearly.
She looks at her mum with such disdain. Cereal time.
The mystery of your former.
Andor hasn't even got word that his mum's dead. Oh, he's going back to get his credits. And the book and his blaster. So they've both decided to sacrifice Krieger. Okay. Did he just steal from his mother? Naughty boy. Hey, at least we got a space battle, right?
Cass, I'm sorry. Your mother's dead.
He said no names and he just used it again. Okay, for me, this episode, it was just going back to a bit of boring stuff. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of build up with no payoff. Obviously, they've been able to get out. It seems that these 2 are the only 2 that survived escaping the prison, or at least that's what they're thinking. Andor's mum dies. The ISB are obviously setting up their trap for Krieger, or I think that's what his name is. And Luthen doesn't want Sol to get involved because, of course, the trap is set, and they're both willing to sacrifice the 30 rebels and Krieger as well, so 31 of them. Andor happens to build these friends with these alien people, and he takes them back to where he left his credits. She goes to Luthen's shop, Val does, to speak to Clea about Andor's mum end up dying, passing away. It's just a lot of more slow build. It's supposed to be a bit of a downer of an episode in regards to it being a bit sad and stuff like that. The droid is obviously programmed to feel feelings, so the droid's upset that Andor's mum is dead. We get a little bit of Biggs being interrogated a little bit more in regards to them wanting to know whether or not the person that met Andor was Krieger, which they're showing just there, and she doesn't answer or anything. It seems that this torture technique does permanent damage by the looks of things. Mon Mothma tells Val what's going on, and Mon Mothma's kid obviously wants everything to do with the traditions and being courted or getting proposals. They have a bit of a discussion about that. Mon tells Val how much trouble she's in regards to what money she owes. Oh, it's a lot of talking. Cyril gets woken up in the middle of the night by this guy essentially telling him that Andor's mum died and that they're going to he'll probably end up going to the funeral, and that there's a lot happening there. It cuts back to Andor being able to get his credits back that he left on top of the shower. This is the bit where Sol Guerrera or Luthen goes to Sol and pretty much tells him, like, Sol's in on this raid that they're going to be doing, and this is where they discuss essentially sacrificing him, and Luthen's not too distressed about it because he doesn't know who Luthen is, so it won't get back to him. It's very slow. Again, I don't know how people can think that this is good Star Wars or better Star Wars than fucking the original movies. I just don't see it. I don't get it. I was very bored throughout this. Luthen obviously gets away from the Imperials, and we get a little bit of a space battle. That's where we see the lightsaber beams come out of the side of the ship from the trailer. So that's this scene here in regards to him getting away from them. So Andor obviously contacts home, finds out that his mother's dead, and that's essentially where the episode ends. And the guy that he escaped with, they split up here at the end because they need to make sure that somebody knows what's going on back at the Imperial prison and what the Imperials are up to. So again, this episode, it's just going back to that standard normal slow burn, fucking boring burn of a lot of dialogue, a lot of exposition, not much happening, no real payoff. Going into the final episode, it's obvious what's going to happen. Andor's going to go back to Ferrix to see his mother off. I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to save Biggs. Don't know what's going to happen with the droid. That he'll probably end up going with Andor by the end of the episode once he's able to escape. There's obviously going to be the trap set up for him going. The ISB chick was allowing them to have the funeral, so she's very happy that this has happened so that it can set the trap for Andor. And it's just average, boring, slow, And I don't really have much more to say than that. You know, it was nice to see a little bit of a space battle. You know, it's kind of like, I reckon if Vader was on that ship, he would have sent out multiple TIE fighters, not just like 4 or 5. And Luthen very easily, at the end of the day, gets away. He sets his countermeasures, destroys the tractor beam on the big Imperial ship, and then they send out the TIE fighters. He destroys, I think, all of them, and then he's out of there. Hyperspace is out of there. I honestly, this show, I don't know what to say about it anymore. Because, again, my last review, it was the best. This is the best thing we've ever seen in Star Wars. It's the best Star Wars we've ever seen. And I don't get it. For me, the audience is so low The ratings for this show are so low that, again, the only people that are watching it are the Disney Star Wars SEALs. And I know that I call them that, but it is literally what it is. Because it's boring, it's slow, there's not much law breaking in regards to the rules in the universe being broken. But it's very clear to me that Tony Gilroy has decided to go completely against the continuity from the EU, and I know it's decanonized. Not that you can ever decanonize something, especially the fact that people say that it was never canon, so I don't know how you decanonize something that was never canon, but anyway, that's a whole different topic. I keep going on about that. But I just, the people that made this, to me, clearly don't understand Star Wars. They don't get Star Wars. This is a lazy, slow burn. I bet you people are going to say the dialogue that, you know, we had from last week, moving into this week, the dialogue between Val and Clea, you know, Clea and the way she's talking. And then obviously there's the code that Clea uses with Luthen in regards to the buyers and all of this kind of thing. It's just, I don't know. It's not Star Wars. To me, it's not Star Wars. And I'm just... the final episode is so obvious. And there's no stakes as well. That's the other thing too. We obviously know that these two survive. Who knows what's going to happen to Luthen? I mean, nothing's going to happen to Luthen in the next episode, I don't think. But moving into the next season... I mean, Luthen doesn't show up in Andor, so he obviously dies somewhere along the line, you would think. So maybe in season 2, he gets killed, he gets caught and killed or captured and tortured, or who knows. But this entire series is going to end with Andor going back to Ferrix, seeing his mother, you know, paying his respects to his mother, and escaping, getting away from the trap that they set. And it's going to be a lot of pew-pew and a lot of action and stuff like this because they're going to essentially set the trap. He's going to fall for the trap. It is his mother. It's a sad thing, but all right, we're just doing all of this stuff to move plot and story forward, and it really just feels forced. It doesn't feel like Star Wars to me, and that's my opinion on it. Anyway, I've hit apathy on this show because it's so boringly slow and boring. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the season finale, episode 12. And yeah, later guys.